Just to start my presentation, I'd like to give a brief about where we stand now. I've been into skill development from last 3.5 years, working with most of you in terms of getting you skilled manpower and addressing the bottom of the pyramid, basically training the operator level. I've been into NCR from last 5 years. We have seen the minimum wages has been in last 3 years has been double. I've started with 3,500 as an average. Now it's 6,500, and in the future, say 2 years or 3 years down the line, it would be 8,500. So where we are standing, as Mr. Tony Utpal was addressing yesterday, that we have certain challenges or certain external factor that the industry took it as a challenge, and we address it alone. But there are certain external and internal factor for it. The internal factor that could be addressed. I'm here to talk about benchmarking. I request you all to participate. It's not about presentation, but it's all about discussion. We are here in a panel discussion. So I won't talk much. I'd like you to listen and respond. We'll start with what is benchmarking. What does benchmarking tells? What is benchmarking? I'd like to hear from you. What do you feel about what is benchmarking? So, is anybody who would like to answer this? What do you mean by benchmarking?
Just to clarify that this part of the session is more interactive. It's designed to be more interactive, like a panel discussion. So feel free to ask questions or answer questions that Abhishek is putting or anybody else. We're open to everybody's inputs.
And to address that, I have only 13 slides made. So if it won't be interactivity, then I'll just complete in 1 minute's time. So I'd like you to participate. And we have it, I see 40 people out here with an average experience of 10 years. So we have 400 years of experience in this hall, small hall. So the more we participate, the more we learn, and the effective benchmarking we could able to do. So if somebody could just write down what is benchmarking, it will drive me, and it will help me to drive this presentation forward.
So benchmarking would be setting a standard so that we can measure on performance whether we are doing better or we are doing wrong.
What else? How does it help?
Standardization.
Right. What else? How does it help? Does standardization help us?
Yes.
What is the level of standardization that we do? How do we standardize, sir?
Why it helps us because, since you are operating in a global environment,
Right, sir.
so you cannot have your own standards. There has to be certain, where globally you are operating,
Right.
certain benchmarks where you see how far you are, how to reach to that level.
And what could be the level to start with? Say we need to move.
Your own assessment where you
Right.
stand, and then what is the,
To start with could be your own assessment. To start with could be your partner, could be the factory next to you. If you start comparing yourself with the factory which is in Bangladesh or the factory which is in Vietnam, that will give an idea about the benchmarking. But is it possible to achieve that? Is it? It has to be. In this competitive world, what I feel with my level of experience, it has to be, and you need to reach there. What could be the level of getting into that level? So to start with, first your own assessment, where you are, what was your best time when you have been very productive? Because sir, we work in a seasonal sector where we have lean, where we have lean time, where we have order, wherein we recruit more people to get the order shipped on the right time. So you first need to assess yourself. I just list on a definition of what Wikipedia says. Benchmarking is the method of identifying, improving best practices in order to improve your performance. Why you need it? As everybody said, we needed to standardize the thing. We needed to know where we are standing, and it helps us to drive to reach to certain level. These are the 5 key points that I have identified. It helps us to identify opportunity. It helps us to improve our performance, and it helps us to set realistic and ambitious target to us. It helps us to learn, and the most important thing is it helps us to use your resource allocation. You need to have right people at the right place at the right time. So the benchmarking help us to address the 5 key point in which resource allocation could be your key drivers the coming, because as earlier day we talked about, somebody was speaking about that resource is what we are going to invest in it, and we know the way the salary, the way the wages are going up. So that would the key resources that could be addressed by using this benchmarking. There are 2 key drivers. One is productivity, the second is utilization. You cannot sustain until you have this 2 combined way of doing it. You may be productive. You may be doing far better than what you have been doing it. But if your utilization is not there, say you can be efficient, but you need to also perform. So performance and efficiency comes hand to hand. So these are the key drivers. I would like to address if there are other drivers that you think that drives our business. In my opinion, there are 2 key drivers that drives our business: is productivity and utilization. If you become productive and if you utilize all your resources better, that could be your space, your manpower, your capacity, your energy, everything. Then these 2 are the key things that is going to play a very critical role and important role in driving the business. So what you want to be? You want to be effective, you want to be efficient. Anybody?
Efficiently effective.
Good. Else? I'll just throw a light on it. I'll just narrate a small story here. There were 2 persons driving a car, different car. The both car got punctured. One guy stand out. He was just trying to figure out where you need to put the jack, how could it be done. So he just wasted his 10 minutes of his time. Then he found, and then he completed his job in an effective manner. The tire was fixed in the way it needs to be fixed. The other guy, Mr. Y, you can say, he knows earlier how to fix a tire, how to put the jack, how to fix a tire. So what he did, he first cleaned his tires. Then he started fixing it. And mind it, he didn't take much of time. He was very efficient. But what he did, he cleaned his tire which was not required. So he has done unvalued thing. What we do? What are the unvalued things that we do in our factory, for which we are not paid off? We check garments. We are not paid for checking garments. We are paid for making garments. We are paid for making garments first piece right at the first time. We have not paid for checking garments 10 times or 15 times, you see. So what you want? It should be both. You need to be effective and you need to be efficient. We have done a case study. It's a small factory. It's a 500 machine factory. There are a few numbers that could be debated on. But we are not here to debate the number. We are here to find out where we are. I'll just go through the average manpower cost that the factory is just doing it. The cutting cost is ₹5. The sewing is ₹60, 68 rather. The finishing cost, I'm just talking about the manpower cost. It directly reflects to the productivity of the factory, how they are performing. The finishing cost is ₹8. Your factory may be more efficient, but where we are. If you talk about cutting costs, it should be close to ₹2 or ₹2.5, and it could be improved more. If you talk about sewing cost, if you search in a net or you just tell you about it, it should be between 15 to ₹22, or it should be lesser. If you talk about finishing cost, I was just discussing with Mr. Jain, Mr. Gunesh Jain here. He has seen a factory in Bangladesh. I think he must have discussed with you all. The finishing cost was less than ₹1. So do we need to benchmark ourselves looking at the Bangladesh factory? This figure tells you where you stand. This figure will help you to identify what are the factors, what are the non-value added process that you do, what are the way of increasing productivity of your factory, and the energy cost is the key here. Like the energy cost is ₹30. Earlier we were having a presentation on the energy, and somebody said it's 30% of the garment, 30% of the cost that we do. So is that the benchmarking that we're going to have? How now we'll just get you through how we have done that, how we have figured out this cost, from where we have got this cost. We have followed a mechanism of doing a benchmarking here. There's a set of process that we do. We visit a factory, we take certain data. The data are captured in a yearly manner. We take 12 months data because it gives us an average of what production that you do. Then we compare it with your 10 days and 15-day average of that time, because then that helps us to cross-check the kind of data that you're giving to us. Because I think the measurement factor is the thing which is really missing in our industry. If we measure, then we don't really we don't really make use of it. It's just measured for the sake of measurement. And if it is not measured, then the values are missed out. So we follow certain process of doing it. We interact with the team out there. We discuss with them. And I'll say, while discussing with this factory, with the industrial engineering team and the production manager, their throughput time was 2 days. The first piece comes after second day of the order, and that's too much. That's really too much. Then I asked, what could be the best? He said, sir, आधे दिन में तो आ जाना चाहिए. And I said, क्यों आधा दिन? Why half day? Why not after 1 hour of the pieces when it's loaded, when the last piece of the first order out? He said that, sir, we work with high fashion garments. They are different, they are lot size, there are many issues. I said, how do you benchmark yourself? They are lean principle based order. They are SMED principle that talks about external factor, internal factor. You need to figure out what are the external factor, what are the internal factor. But what I presume, 70% of the processes remain same. I don't know what kind of garment you make, but 60-70% the process remains same. There are only 30% that you need to address. So if 30% are addressed on the right time, then really it will help you to control your throughput time, because that's the key of that's the area where every swing section or production suffers. So that's the area, and that's the focus area that we work with. That was it. I think it was. I said I have got a very small presentation that need to be done. We are open for any kind of a discussion here. So thank you very much. Yeah, I could be contacted on the address and the email ID I have. So thank you for the patient listening. Thank you.
Thanks, Abhishek.